Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to your Hump Day edition of Second Breakfast. Hope you guys are out there doing well, having a good day, having a good week, all that jazz. I'm going to be painting up some minis while we chat this morning. Hope you guys saw the video this morning on RPG Pundit's game setting World of the Last Sun. I just noticed this morning this giant freaking rifle that this wizard's holding. Freaking awesome. I love that. It's almost Lancian in its length. I guess he's reloading it. He does need to trim his nails though. Just saying. Uh, Never ever ever been able to respect anybody with super long nails unless they're actually serving a purpose. And for wizards, it just seems like I know a couple of my friends have a couple of nails that they use like as tools regularly. Not calling anybody out, but like my deacon at my church, all of his nails are super long, and I shook his hand, and it was just like, dude, why you're 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 not. I mean, maybe he's got some hobby that I don't know about um, that does it. But anyways, guys, hope you're doing well. What's new out there in the old world of the interwebs? I am uh, muddling through a bit of a headache. I haven't been able to shake. I think I've got a tumor going on this side of the head. Just dum, 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 dum. Um, I do sleep on that side of my head, my body, but it's kind of annoying. So if I disappear, the tumor got me. So uh, just a little heads up there. What are you guys working on right now? You got anything on your desk of note of anything you're working on? You like to show off? Feel free to come in and show us some glamour shots of whatever it is you're working on. Um, I am working on just things to keep my painting skill up. I've actually finished most of all the scatter terrain that I chose to work on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got about a dozen things that are left that most of are actually left over from a couple of Kickstarters ago. And I just like, oh, okay, if I paint one more treasure chest, my head's going to explode, and not from the tumor. I uh, I realized the other day, yesterday, I guess it was. What's up, squirrel? I'm working on my lunch. Nice. I had two breakfast sausage, and that was it for breakfast. I'm trying to lose some weight. A little bit's coming off here and there, and the heat is helping. Like I always said, summer I can drop pounds without even trying. Just wear an extra layer. It seems. But I got this email a while ago that was talking about that I needed to pay Dungeons and Lasers some shipping, blah blah blah. But it turns out it was actually for Reaper's Dungeon Dwellers Kickstarter that I backed as a late backer, not even as a full backer, and it's still been 2 or 3 years. And I got an email, and it was from them saying I owe them money on shipping, and that made me really excited because I had forgotten about it. And for those of you who don't know, Heritage Miniatures back in the 70s and 80s was my go-to line of miniatures, lead miniatures. Dungeon Dwellers was one of the, if not the first official Dungeons and Dragons lines of miniatures. Minifigs might have beat them to that punch, but they had a really wonderful line of fantasy miniatures that I can still remember them to this day because I see them every once in a while. But Mike or Max Carr was the sculptor, and he did such wonderful work. The faces had this charming, almost cherub-like quality to them, especially that classic halfling miniature that's just a cloak, a hobbit head, and a little bow. That I just love that miniature um, for just right here, but a bunch of the other miniatures as well. And I spent about a decade recollecting the entire line of Heritage Dungeon Dwellers and everything else Heritage, and in doing so, drove up the prices. So if you're ever looking for those lead minis, hit me up, and I can hook you up better than eBay, because those prices are inflated because of yours truly being an absolute beast when it came to buying them and making sure that I got everything I was looking for. And then I started selling them, and in doing so, well, the prices are now out of control. But not really, because you can now look at Grenadier and Raw Partha, and they're sometimes fetching the same kinds of prices. Squirrel's still out on the porch painting away at the 15 millimeter Samurai. I am working on some Ladies of the Evening and the Reaper Sleeping Beauty. I'll just show you this one. It's you can't really tell, but it's Sleeping Beauty on her bed, surrounded by roses, and I just thought, you know what, I'll never use this piece in a game, but I always like this the sort of, semi risque but slightly classy, adult version. You can see her butt cheeks, whoop de doo. Like you can't go outside and see that on a regular basis. But I picked it up along with some other minis that I wanted to pick up just so I could practice on working on techniques that I don't normally work on. Almost everything that we have, you got hands and you got faces when it comes to skin tones and things like that. Because everybody's clothed and wearing 18 layers of freaking armor and that sort of thing. And I saw some minis, and I also wanted to add them for my some of these pieces for my gothic horror vampire wars possibilities. I got a couple more vampires in the mail, but I just primed them. Uh, this box is getting full of vampires and vampire hunters. Only priming them, leaving them in the box until September, and then I'm going to go nuts with gray scales and shades of gray and darker colors and things like that. I am going to go pick up the Sherlock Holmes and Watson real soon, because Sherlock Holmes and Watson and Van Helsing and some other folk are available as miniatures to put in your squad, your little mini army, because it's like a skirmish game set, in the Victorian to 1900s era. So I got some cowboys. There's a great Western vampire hunter from Reaper that I use as my preacher from Shadows of Brimstone that I'll be bringing in, as well as some other cowboys maybe to add to some of the possible scenarios that I'll play out with that game. I would have never even known about the game had I not seen a video about it, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. And so I checked out the video, and sure enough, it's amazing how a video can drive the market when it comes to games and miniatures. I found it really hard for the first couple of weeks to find anything, but eventually I found, for the most part, all of the rules and a couple extra source books and some minis. And I've got the Dracula's Carriage over here. I cannot wait. I didn't even the primer or that one is staying in the package. I shut it off. Uh, got it from Miniature Market. This giant freaking carriage, four horses drawing it with the covered carriage, so Dracula can rest in peace while he's going from place to place in style. There's a coachman. All in all, it says it's a 30-piece model, all metal, $20 plus shipping. It's absolute freaking steal. I've seen the Blue Moon version of this for the same game, uh, or roughly the same game. Unfortunately, it's in 25 millimeter scale, but it's going for $50 on eBay, and I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, mostly because it is in fact 25 millimeter scale. And even if I was playing a 25 millimeter game, I'd use the 28 millimeter scale just to make it look bigger and more grand. Hey, what's up, George? Stephen Kennedy, how you guys doing this morning? But really looking forward to that. But we're still in June. I've got to get through June, July, and August before I can even put paint to those things. So I'm kind of anxious because I've also got the Sigmarite Mausoleum to work on and some other things. I'll probably even make or get a couple of sheets of XPS foam and maybe build up some battlefield like mini battlefields. Like I want to take one 2x2 and make the Sigmarite Mausoleum one thing. Although I'm thinking maybe that's not a great idea because I've got the volcanic the volcanic island still up on top of one of my refrigerators, and it's a beast. It's it's taller than the 2x2 foot XPS foam it's on, and the likelihood that we're going to use it any time as a set piece or anything for gaming is probably pretty slim. But I just every time I look at it, I just picture one of two things: either a bunch of minis up there on their fighting their way to the top entrance to the volcano, or I remember Corwin and his fight up Mount Colvire in the Amber Chronicles, fighting against Eric's forces to try to get up and over the pass. I'm doing really good. No complaints. It's Wednesday. The week is moving on. Jackie's enjoying his vacation. Went and took his ASVAB again, like the official one, and did considerably better than the first time. Um, I wanted to help him study, but he wasn't really having much of that. I think I could have knocked him up a point more on his test had he let me help him. But you know how kids are these days, or teenagers have been since the beginning of time. They know everything, and you know, unfortunately, they got to find out the hard way, the contrary. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Um, I did enjoy what I've read so far. Like I said, just the first 50 pages or so of World of the Last Sun. It's very funny if you like Venger and if you like Board of the Rings and if you like Wizards and if you liked um, Fire and Ice and uh, other things like that. The Dying Earth, of course, which I'm sure this is very much inspired by, with a lot of Harvard Lampoon thrown in. You'll enjoy this. I think the hardcover cost me about 40 45 bucks. Uh, definitely definitely glad I got it, but like I said before, I thought it was an actual RPG and not just a setting. Which I always advocate for people writing settings, but with something like this, it does feel like it's missing you know unique character classes and races and things like that to really make it um, an all-in-one kind of thing, so that you just grab it and that's all your players need to grab is that one book. But I've reached out to Pundit in my own way, through this video. Hopefully, he'll catch the video and uh, maybe answer some of those questions I have. We'll see. He's on the other side of the world, below the equator, from what I understand, and it may take a while for this message to reach him. Oop, almost ran over a cord. Didn't want to do that. But yeah, that's what I got going on. I've got a game with OGGM this weekend with Mike and Jen and RPG Grandma. We're gonna play one last game of the fantasy RPG Shadow or whatever we're playing, and then we're gonna play some of his vigilantes for Shadow Dark. I've already got a character made up for that. I think we've got Squirrel Hermit popping in. Hey brother, sorry, I just saw the thing. It didn't make the little bloop noise.
Hey,
Um,
no worries, bud. No worries.
I sent the link to the goggles for Cal, who was
Love
looking
it.
for a new a new pair of optical assistants.
Yes, optical enhancement. Yes, yes. No, that's awesome. Good. I'm glad to share. Hopefully, I mean they're not bad priced and they work well.
Yeah, yeah.
I use them.
Everybody needs some help at our age because uh, they say
Yeah,
the eyes are the first to go or something like that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. It's the brain.
yeah.
Yeah, the
But
tumor
either
is
way,
really uh, giving me some.
headache is really bothering you, huh?
It's not like one of them like whatever, but it actually feels like swelling on this side of my head
Uh,
versus anything else. At first I thought like it was like a pimple or something, below
yeah.
the skin, but no, no, it's the alien parasite trying to dig its way out. I think.
Uh
Um,
oh. Well, it's starved, so it's
Ryan, very nice. Um, but yeah, trying to knock a few more things off my table, even though I've got a crap ton more. There's a bunch of pieces I need to just like take off the table and just accept the fact that I'm not going to get to them this year. Like this big bad boy right here. I know he's not done. He looks done, but I know he's not done.
okay. Oh, that
I just don't.
Oni with the cage or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I can't for the life of me decide what I need to do. I like a lot of the things. I need to fix that. That's for sure. Um, but I just don't know what to do next. He's actually wearing, if you can see, he's wearing some tigers or big
Mm-hmm.
cats as his loincloth kind of thing. And there's one, two, three, four full cats hanging from his waist.
Oh man,
And then there's people trying to get out of the cage. I mean, there's like a lot of people stuffed in there. I'm counting one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 pair of arms and a couple of heads trying to poke their way out of the cage.
oh, they're stuffed in there like sardines.
Yeah, yeah. This is a Shadows of Brimstone piece that I love that game. It's so much fun. Even playing solo, it's one of the few games that I've been able to like grab and go. You know what? Okay, let's do it. Play solo because it's got a lot of decks of cards for every kind of situation, and they make it feel like you're interacting with something other than just like rolling and looking up stuff in a book. I've played a bunch of games like that back in the day uh, to test out games or when I was bored or didn't have anybody to play
Yeah,
with. Um,
or
and
just
and it,
figure your way around the rules a little bit too.
but it always kind of felt a little empty and dry for me uh, after a while, But with Shadows of Brimstone, I could just keep playing, and the progress and things like that were very well tracked. And
Nice.
each game has got a timer, so you're trying to do this thing, rush through the dungeon and get the solve the problem or find the MacGuffin and get out before the darkness just envelops you and gobbles your ass up. And we've got the next Kickstarter is probably I'll probably get it before Christmas.
Okay.
Hopefully, as much as as much as I really really am looking forward to this Kickstarter more than any other Kickstarter I've gotten since the Siege of the Citadel. You remember that old board game?
Yeah.
Oh big fan. And when we finally got that, it was a mountain of boxes and books and materials and minis that I still need to go and paint someday. Uh, Someday, right?
Yeah.
Along with the above me, I've got the entire Kickstarter for Zombicide Dead or Alive, the Western, which is like 350 cowboy miniatures that I haven't even painted one. I only opened up one box of the Kickstarter of the well over a dozen boxes, and it was to like kind of read the book, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it, so I put it away. Hey, what's up, Hungar? And I put it back up on the shelf there. And one of these days, when I'm in a really really big Western mood, which is normally the spring and summer, I'll break them out and start painting them, which is funny because, like I said, spring and summer is Western season, and Miguel and Sylvia just sent me uh, the new Western game they put out, which is like a rewritten version of their previous Wretched Country, but with you know modified for their newer game system, Red, which I'm really looking forward to, and maybe that'll spark a more Western interest during to last me till the fall. I don't know what it is about the weather and seasons. Do you get like that?
Yes.
Where certain seasons make you want to play certain games, and then when that season's over, it's time to play the other seasonal game.
Yeah, yeah, I do get like that. Not so much as with different games, just gaming in general. For me, the fall, winter through spring, that's tabletop time.
Because of the weather,
Summertime,
right?
yeah, summertime is nice. Well, it's because of the weather. Because when we were kids, we go to school.
Right.
We talk about this stuff. We'd see each other all day, pretty much.
Mhm.
Because I went to a very small school, so we practiced saw each other 6 out of the 7 hours of the day because we all pretty much had the same classes or whatever. And
Mhm.
then after school, we'd go to whoever's house, play for a few hours, or we'd get together on the weekends all the time. Because I mean, wintertime is snowing, there's nothing to do. I mean, we were at the age of like sled riding, eh, snowball fights every now and again, but
For us, it was riding our bikes. I mean, California all year long. Any excuse to get on our bikes and just ride around and do shit and get into trouble. Rock fights, go down to the riverbed and do stuff and like that. But as
that
soon as it
was
started,
that was summertime for us because school was out, and so let's just you know the
well,
parents,
even
I don't
even
want to see
during
you in this house till dark. If you're thirsty, find a spigot.
even during school, if we went right home, it would be drop off our backpacks, get back on our bikes, and forget about it. You wouldn't see us until you know after the streetlights came on, or maybe we'd come home for dinner and knock off an hour early. But we were on our bikes all the damn time, and even when it rained, um, you know 60-40 whether we be on our bikes or at a table playing some role-playing games or miniature war games or what have you. But yeah, as soon as like fall hit and whatnot, it was all about role-playing games. And where I used to live, it used to rain quite a bit starting September. That's how we knew it was time to go back to school, because it would start raining. And we'd also get fog because we lived off the not too far from the coast,
Yeah,
and we get fog. And there was something about fog which I haven't seen fog in 30 years. No, I think I saw it once right before Jackie was born. We were driving somewhere and the fog rolled in, and I'm like, oh my gosh! But I haven't seen real fog in ages. But there was something about it. I remember this one time. I used to work at this game store, and it had a side. It rented the side store next to it as just a game hall, and I had the keys to the place, so we would take advantage of that and run up the poor guy's electric bill and just be there till all crazy hours of the day. And one night, my friends and I, we were gaming. And it's like, yeah, we should probably head home. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Crazy. None of us were 18, and we were
yeah, yeah.
just
We're pushing the envelope. Let's skedaddle.
right. And so we're walking home, and then out of nowhere, we hit the elementary school that we had all previously gone to, and it was, you could not see your hand in front of your face kind of fog, and it was awesome. We were talking about the game, and it just, I mean, we were expecting zombies and vampires to just start
Yeah,
coming up out of the
you're
ground
like,
and
oh
around
shit,
us.
there's a zombie, an orc. Oh no.
It was like that story Max Liao tells about the giant ants. When he's riding his bike home, and he's all scared
Yep.
because of the giant ants. For us, it was vampires and undead, because we'd all seen Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that. I think I was all of 15 at the time. My older friend was 18. He might have been out of high school, but my other friend, he was like just entering high school, and it was just like it was perfect, man. Uh, if you could have like queued up that slee stack hissing noise, oh, it's just we would have just we would have just crapped ourselves right then and there. Um, and it's one of those things I'll always remember because as scared as we were, I mean, we knew the worst thing that would happen would be some like pervert or homeless guy would appear out of the fog and just like, hey, you got $1, something like that,
Give me some
uh,
change. Got a cigarette?
something like that, would be the worst thing. But all the way home from I mean, it must have been like 15-20 blocks a walk through the fog. But when we hit the school grounds, because we knew that that field was just like wide open, anything could
Mm-hmm.
just come up out of nowhere and just like if it would have someone would have grabbed one of us, we wouldn't have all we would have heard would have been "Ooh," and that'd have been it, man. They could have just got away scot free. Um, but yeah, man, since then, I don't buy into the global warming or climate change whatsoever. But even back where I used to live, no rain, no fog. Um,
Yeah, global warming, all that jazz. I mean, I'm going to say this: we might have like a freckle of an effect, but overall, we ain't doing shit.
I know,
It
I
ain't.
know.
It, it,
It's more likely to me, in my limited understanding, that it's just a seasonal, cyclical thing. I was watching a video last night on different weird shit, but one of them happened to touch on the like uh, 26 to 30 million year cycles of extinction events, and we're like, we got 11 million years to go, so we're good. You know,
yeah, I've seen something similar to that. I
yeah.
forget
And even then, I'm
the
like,
cycle timeline or whatever, but yeah, there's a couple theories that are real similar to that.
but I just can't picture, uh, I mean, less than firing a lot more nuclear weapons or something really big. The little shit that we do, I don't know, man. I'm gonna need to see more drastic effects because I mean, we get winters, like Texas a couple years ago. They just got crushed.
Yeah,
Um, and monsoon seasons and things like that. It's just like just enough fear porn. There's like, I mean, it's really hard to find any good news even on the internet, right?
yeah. The news. I just don't know about that anymore. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
It's
I definitely don't watch any major news networks for the same reason I don't eat out of the toilet.
mm, yeah.
But I mean, even independent or whatever, it's just
Like
I don't.
I was saying yesterday, the only kind of close thing, like growing up, we used to have like on the regular news channels, there'd be like one story every day that they would just throw in there. Maybe it was a token story, but just to give you a little, hey, this cool thing happened to these people or those people, or
Yeah,
over
humans are
here,
still good. Humans are
they
still
just
good.
just one of those literally, as they coined the term, feel good stories. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, we don't get any of that except for hey, good news, your enemies are suffering and dying, or blah, that hateful shit is like
yep.
the and I'm like, I'm trying real hard not to get suckered into it, but I fail that saving throw at least once a day. It's like, cool, that person I can't stand, something bad happened to them, they got a flat tire or something,
Well,
and
speaking of
it's all
good
just
news,
bullshit.
speaking of good news, though, I mean, I was, if it's true, there was some joy to be found in how uh, all the World Cup folks coming to see
Oh,
and
I know,
watch the
right?
World Cup, all the
Oh, thank you for
joy
bringing that
and
up. Oh my
and
goodness! Oh, that
and the welcoming of us Americans to them.
yeah.
That's good shit.
They're all going to go back home, and they're all going to make their neck of the woods a little bit better by trying to do something that they learned from us Yankees. Something.
Well, and not only
Whether it's
that,
a
they were
defensive thing.
saying, I've seen a lot of them saying, like, telling folks from their nation and other nations, basically, I'm paraphrasing, don't believe the hype. It ain't that fucking bad over here. These guys aren't that big of an asshole. They're not barbaric. They're not, the food is great. They're don't believe what our media is telling you about the
or
US.
their own, or their own.
Yeah.
Especially how like I mean we've all known this. Maybe they didn't, but like you come over here with the right accent, because there's a couple accents we're not big fans of. Just gonna say that, but you come over here with the right accent, and you're gonna be treated like freaking royalty. Because us rednecks and whatnot and peasants, we hear certain accents and we just go, oh, you know, wibbly as they say, and it's like let me buy you a meal, a drink, a whatever, welcome to the states, because there's very few places where you can come from that we're just going to instantly treat you like shit, and it's usually a place that's treated us like shit for whatever reason, but even then, it's like all you got to do is say something about how you're so glad to be here, and we're like, well, welcome to the club, greatest place on earth. Step
Yeah.
up to the bar, grab yourself a drink, and
Yeah. Belly up,
here,
buddy. Come
have
on.
a
First,
cheeseburger.
belly up. Yep. First round and the burger's on me.
Right, as long as it's not McDonald's, just saying, because I I can't stand that place. I just
Well, I'll buy him a burger, but I won't eat one.
I don't even miss their fries,
I
which
said
is
to
weird.
now, one thing I will eat at McDonald's, without a doubt. One and only one thing. Their
Hmm,
sausage gravy biscuit in the morning. That's it.
okay.
And a
I,
hash
I
brown.
do
I mean,
miss,
it's a hash brown. Hash browns
I,
or a potato.
right. I do miss their McRib sandwich, but I haven't seen them in forever, and I've always questioned what they're made out of,
It's
because
people.
that's not. Yeah, it's people. I'm certain there's at least 33% people in those things. Um,
Yeah. Why it's so yummy.
but I also found that there are other rib patties you can buy elsewhere, and whip one up if that's what you're
Yeah,
looking for.
you could duplicate it nowadays online. I'm sure someone's got a recipe that gets you really,
Well,
really
no,
in the wheelhouse.
Sam's Club sells a big box of them frozen, you know, uh, boneless, but they look like they have the bones in them, which is really weird, because the shape they make them shaped to look
Yeah,
like
they make
there's
them look. Yeah,
and you just eat the whole thing. We had ribs for Father's Day, and
there you go.
they were pretty good, but I told the wife, no, 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 because we had already spent like $50 just on breakfast, our regular breakfast, after Sunday morning. It's like $50, and I'm like, no, no, no. We got plenty of food. It's Father's Day. Just we'll just make something simple and save ourselves, $100 or whatever. And no, she had to call in an order while I was taking a nap. Next thing I know, she's bringing in two big old bags of ribs and baked potatoes and all the other good stuff. They were
Well,
good, but
she's spoiling you.
uh,
She loves you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're a good
And
father, good hubby. Come on.
I do my best 4 or 5 days out of the week. The other ones I just slack. Uh, but I am really grateful because like right after church, and we usually like do a couple of little honeydew list things, and then I'm hitting the couch, 4 hours, 3 hours, easy. Nobody wakes me up, nobody
Yep.
bugs me. Just I'm like, shit. They all know I'm old now. Damn.
They see me being weak.
Right, right, right. But it's cool because right after the nap, I wake up, I have a dinner with the family, and then I go off and game with Cal and Omen Owl and off grid, and our friend Armstrong from well, he's from Poland, but he's in Ireland. Uh, Man, I really hope one day he can make his way to the states and I can freaking hang out with him for a bit. He is just the sweetest, nicest guy you have ever freaking met, ever, ever, ever. Just
Yeah,
like,
hopefully that'd be great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to find a way to get airfare down and get all our friends out here for one big freaking meetup.
Hoorah!
Yeah, yeah. Did you see? Speaking of friends, uh, did you see Bloodworth's video this morning?
No, I have not.
He did a quick review on uh, role playing the hard way because it's almost the anniversary. It'll be 2 years in August or September that he passed.
Yeah, Shauner's uh book.
Yeah, and I need to contact his sister, and it's like, okay, they had to have sold like 20 copies, which is some money that should go into the fund for the family. And Amazon shouldn't just get to keep that in perpetuity because years from now, even when we're gone, that book will still sell some copies. You know,
Yeah,
um,
if it's still up and available, absolutely.
and they could easily, if they wanted to, they could raise the price a couple of shekels, and we wouldn't bat an eye. Just
Yeah,
help
raise
out
it
the
2 bucks.
family, and yeah, exactly. I mean, I paid 50 for this one, roughly 50, and I don't regret it. I just you know
Yep.
I'm enjoying it. Too many. I was meaning to talk to somebody about this, man.
Was that the Dying Sun one?
World of the Last Sun. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or the Last Sun. Yeah.
Um, I'm a big fan of Jack Vance's Dying Earth, and really appreciate the massive stack of Dying Earth books. I see them every day. They're right there, and I've gone through a few of them, but just I'm gonna because I've got the another company put out a Dying Earth book, and I want to like compare the two because it's like a really thin book versus the big stack you gave me. But I want to compare the two and some of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other games that are all based on Jack Vance's work. But I wanted to ask, um, like, there's games out there that are how do I put it meant to be played as unseriously as possible. What's up, Bad News
Yeah.
Bard?
Hey, hey.
Anything by Venger, Tune, stuff like that. That are meant to be funny. The Monty Python game, etc. How do you feel about games that go out of their way to be, I'm going to say, silly?
Um, yeah, it don't bother me if that's what they want to do and people like it. Go for it. I don't really play them. I mean, I forget what the game was called. It was at a Gary Con, one of the earlier ones I went to.
Uh-huh.
Um,
What's up, Cold Iron?
it was a goofball type game, but we all had a blast. But we bought in. We were like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna do
You,
this, and
you,
I'll
you
have a
went
fun.
into, you went into it knowing what you were going to potentially experience. In the
Correct.
way of jocularity and non-serious RPGing. I find that 99.9% of the gaming sphere does not want that. They want freaking deadly serious, grim, dark. Everything has got to be freaking brutally serious. But I
Well,
don't know.
those games can come in handy if
Mhm.
you do enjoy them from time to time. Let's say your table gets together and you guys try a couple of different of those silly games as like a one shot. Okay. And now 2 of the 4 players can't show up. Hey, you want to play this goofball alley? It'll kill some time. We're still together. We'll rip a couple laughs and we're doing something.
Yep, yep, yep.
So
Bear trying to
there's
get me
something to think about.
uh, uh, Labyrinth Lord, I think, or whatever, Black Pudding. He turned me on to that, and it's in the same vein of ridiculousness. Even the game, Arduin never took itself too seriously. It was not afraid to try to be funny, while still, you could have your absolute serious moments, if not, most of the time, deadly serious. This is, but I'm like, you realize what you're doing. I mean, you're playing a make believe game with make believe shit,
Yeah.
playing pretend with grown ups. Um, if you cannot look at that fact alone and go, my God, I never grew up.
I'm a
I
big kid.
refuse.
I'm a big kid.
Man, the arrested development is strong in me. Holy shit. I'm looking at a room full of toys that would make any 6-year old lose his freaking mind,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and Cold Iron, Old Grove is a fun one. I have never heard of it, but I will
Yeah.
be writing it down just
Old Grove.
because, you know, I've played all the serious games. I've played all the high stakes, everything, but
That does sound familiar to me. Can't recall a cover art or anything like that, but that for some reason. But anyways, yeah, write it down. Look into it.
I'm doing that as we speak. Because I was in Bubba's game Monday, and I don't know if you guys know Eldrad Wolfsbane. He's an interesting character, and I finally got to play with him, and he does funny really well. He he's not afraid to uh, lean into one of the two aspects of comedy, which is either making fun of others or making fun of yourself, and he is uh, no stranger to making fun of himself, which is, in my opinion, kind of the height of comedy. It's really easy to make jokes at others' expense, but you fire one right into your own face. Step on that rake on purpose.
If you
Um,
can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't be laughing at anybody else.
that's well put. Well put. And it was an absolute joy to play with him. I could tell though that there were a number of players that were just like, it didn't help the fact that everybody refused to turn their camera on in Discord. So I have no idea who I'm playing with except Bubba and Eldrad, and I'm like,
Now you
no,
should at least have your camera on for a little bit. Like I'm going to take a bite of something. I'd do this. I'd take a bite of something or take a drink
right.
or like I was wiping my nose earlier or something, and then all right,
Mhm.
back. That's all.
Well, if part of it is because we're on Roll20 and Discord at the same time, so most people are just focused on the Roll20. But and the same with Bloodworth when we're in his game. He'll have his camera on, but nobody's over there. Everybody's over on Roll20, looking at the map and checking their character sheets and all that stuff. But I really, really don't like not being able to put a face to a name or a voice. So Cold Iron says you play as townsfolk who live in a small town called Old Grove. Their economy is tanked because adventurers don't come to the dungeon nearby anymore. So the townsfolk decide to go in the dungeon. Okay, I try to mute when I cough. Says bad news. Sometimes not quick enough. Same. I don't even bother because I cough a lot because COPD and ex-smoker and all that shit.
Yeah.
you know, if I've got to do something else or somebody comes in or other things, then absolutely turn the camera off, turn the mic off. But it just, I wish everybody wasn't so freaking damn serious all the time. But at the same time, I understand that it can really kill a mood that a GM is trying uh, to you know instill within us as players.
Yeah.
But
Ill-timed humor.
I am that guy. Ask anybody who's played with me. I will be cracking jokes all the damn time, especially my last character in Bloodworth's game, a half elf assassin with the rapier, dark wit, uh, just constantly. And there's one particular player, I'm not going to mention any names, always laughs at my jokes, and that goes a long way with me. you laugh at my jokes.
They're going to
We're
keep
friends for
coming.
life, you know. Yep, yep. But yeah, although I never run what I consider to be the humorous races, that being gnomes and half orcs and even dwarves to some extent. I haven't played a gnome. I played one gnome once. I've played a couple of hobbits, but not maybe a couple as NPCs, but as a player character, not in 35 years. Half orc, maybe 30 years. For the most part, I just stick to humans and elves or other non-human things. Farmer, Smith, Night Watch, and Set. You roll for how much gold the party needs to pay off their old Grove Inn tab. It basically makes level one monsters serious. Everything is random, so it always changes. It's wacky fun. Okay, I'll take a
Nice.
look. Uh, if it's where can I find it? Is it drive through or something like that, or is it just good luck finding it on eBay? Because I'll still put in the search for it, but if it's available somewhere more readily, then I'm more likely to actually pick it up and not forget about it. Because God only knows when some of these items that I have searches for. It's funny on eBay. I've got like over 100 daily searches, and every once in a while one will pop up. It's like, oh, I forgot I saved that search. Oh, there's an item that's not even close to what I'm looking for, but algorithmically they go, oh, hey, it's got like one word that's in your search criteria, so we'll bring it up. Um, and so good question. Where'd you get it, man? Did you just find it, on this some weird table at a con somewhere? It's definitely well, yeah, clearly it's definitely out there, but I'm not exactly even sure what you mean by that. Is it availability or freaking gonzo craziness? I mean,
Or both.
yeah, right. Pick one. Uh, yeah, but uh, reading this last night and whatnot, I couldn't help but notice, like the fact that uh, pundit mentions an entire like nation or country of furries and describe them exactly as we've come to know them, not like the fuzzies from uh, H.P.
Not,
Piper book, but
yeah, not anthropomorphic, but
no, no,
uh,
no, no. The weirdos in the costumes is what he meant.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not anthropomorphic. They're. I was going to say the animal cosplays.
The perverts, yeah, which
Yeah,
is what he literally calls them, and other little jabs like the hipster elves, which I'm never going to hear the end of from DM James if he ever reads his book, which I kind of doubt he will because um, he's like that one and done guy. He finds that one thing and he latches on, and that's his one true love, and never shall the two part until he finds something else.
yeah. A new shiny or shiny comes along.
Right. It's circa 2015. Okay. Oh, you found it at a con. Okay. I'll look it up and see if I can find it. Then it's not like an arm and a leg because it's kind of weird. The market for old game material. It's either dirt cheap, in which case you instantly know that nobody cares, or it's insanely priced, and even then, almost nobody cares.
Yeah,
You know, in 25 years or so, those all those really old editions of White Box are going to be meaningless to all but a handful of people, um, and over time, eventually, no one will care because there'll be so many new RPGs and things you can plug into your brain and shit like that or whatever, that they'll just be like, mm, it would be like us, oohing and awing over lead miniature flats.
yeah.
Nobody cares. Most people here don't even know what that is. Um, I would if I found some, I might buy them. The right ones. But I also know that in 25 years they won't even exist because they'll have rotted away to nothing. Um, but or like if you remember those old wooden toys that you could actually buy at the store for your kids, your toddlers. They were designed to look like old timey toys made out of wood, but they were made in some Chinese factory.
Yeah.
Cold Iron says, you can come on in. You've got my link. Face group devoted to obscure titles. I had no idea the '70s had a glut of weird, obscure RPGs. I wouldn't call it a glut, but there are a number of them. Uh, Mind you, most of them didn't come out until after '77. And if you blink, you were into the '80s, and that's when it really, really took off. That's when um, there were just an absolute freaking mountain of that, and I think drive through also actually uh, helped to flood the market with off the wall weird. I mean, you literally, if you had uh, 50 years, you really couldn't go through the entire library that's on drive through, and of course an unlimited budget. If you bought and had delivered everything drive through has available in print, you'd never make it through. You would never.
Nope.
It's just so many just weird. I've seen like 4-page pamphlets on drive through to weird character sheets and modules and settings and just cult. GURPS is a cult. Period. I've played it, and one thing I will say uh, about GURPS, I do believe that if there ever is a perfect role playing game, it will be a point by game. You get points, you build your character, off to the races. However, playing 1 second melee rounds or rounds drives me fucking insane. The idea that we can spend an hour and only make it through like 12 seconds, um, no, just no. I realize it's all subjective, but it's just too granular for me. And this is the same with Palladium. That's why I got out of Palladium is the combat with all the different things, especially when you've got characters with like more than 7 or 8 actions in a melee round, and they're just freaking doing all this crazy shit, and after 4 hours of freaking combat, you're done with the one encounter, because
Yeah.
everybody went all Jackie Chan, and it's like no, 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 no. I know that's feasible. I know it's possible. I've watched modern fencing. I know how fast a swing and contact can be. Those guys are like, if you blink, the match is over. Have you watched modern Olympic fencing lately?
Not recently, but I've seen it. Yeah.
It is the fastest thing I've ever seen. It's like
Yep.
like it's over. Oh, who won? I don't know. Rewind it. What do you mean rewind? You
Well,
know, the
keep
one frame.
blabbing.
Oh, okay, there it was.
Keep blabbing. I got to take care of something real quick. I'll be right back, though.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
be right back.
yeah, no worries. I was amazed because I was curious to see what it's like because Jackie's into fencing and that sort of thing, or at least he was in fencing up until I think last year he had to bow out. But it was just unbelievably quick, which to me kind of takes a lot of the fun out of it, especially as a spectator. It's funny because uh, I was talking to Jackie's friends last Tuesday, uh, right after their game, and we got to talking about sword fighting, and I was like, "You ever seen The Princess Bride?" And they're like, "Huh?" None of them. They'd never heard of it. Mind you, they're all about 18, and they never heard of The Princess Bride. And I'm like, well, if you want to watch the greatest sword fight ever, and then I had them look, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I've seen this," because they've seen clips of the fight, between Wesley and Indigo, but they never watched the whole damn movie. And I'm like, all right, homework assignment. Go home, watch this freaking movie. You'll love it. But it was like, how have you not seen that movie? I mean, it used to be the Valentine's Day movie, right, guys? Like every Valentine's Day for like 20 years at least. When I was still aware of regular like network TV, I forget which station. It was like it was their Valentine's night movie. They never stayed home sick from school. I know, right? Well, if they did, they probably were playing Nintendo, whatever that baseball game was, and not actually watching TV. Lucky bastards. We didn't have freaking. I don't think. Well, no, that's not true. Yeah, I kind of stopped. It was like less staying home from school and more just ditching school. For me, yeah, it's a great freaking movie. It's got everything: chases, escapes, you know. And I've got the paperback, and I've also got the DVD somewhere. Just want to, it used to be my favorite movie. There was at least like a 5 or 10 year period where if you asked me, I would have said that's my favorite movie. And then Pulp Fiction came out, and then that was it. And then The Watchmen came out, and yeah, that's it. I know I'm just moon faced assassin of joy. Uh, I'm so busy between work, streaming, and watching Babylon 5. No, 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 don't sweat it, dude. I need to come on your show ASAP. I do have Wednesdays off, so maybe tonight if uh, I don't forget, because that's often what it is. Um, Now that I've freed up a bunch of my time, I often um, have dinner and then pass out just because I can. One of the longest waits to meet someone at a con, Wallace Shawn. Nice. I need to rewatch Babylon 5 as well, but maybe because I was just saying that to myself last night. It's like I was watching The Prisoner because I bought the box set, and I'm like, I dig it, but it wasn't like when I was watching the original Battlestar Galactica or the original Buck Rogers. When I was watching those, I was like, I couldn't wait each night to get some free time to throw in one of those episodes. But with The Prisoner, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of trippy, but it just didn't grab me like I was hoping it would. Whereas,
Yeah,
like, if I could find Blake Seven on DVD or UFO on DVD, which is about like the kind of the same era, I know those would grab me more, or at least I'm hoping. Because man, that wardrobe in The Prisoner, man, wow, oof, it was rough, man, it's rough. You're in season 4, episode 5. Tonight's conversation. Okay. Home from school sick meant Sprite, yes. Or if anybody remembers Bubble Up, not 7 Up, but Bubble Up in the weird bumpy bottles. Oh man, chicken noodle soup, uh, Price is Right, and The Young and the Restless. Nice. What? Don't remember Scrabble, the game show. One of my favorites was Card Sharks, Match Game, and the Captain and Mrs. Muir. But of course, topping it all off, even better than all of that put together, is a Twilight Zone marathon. Just saying, man. I got the whole box set, and it has all the really weird, obscure episodes. We've talked about doing Blake Seven after. Oh, dude. Oh, since I've only seen that once, you let me give me some warning, and I will be there, guaranteed. I love that freaking show. Care Avon is one of the greatest characters of all freaking time. Paul Darrow was one of the most absolutely just charming motherfuckers. Uh, Press. Okay, I've never even heard of Press Your Luck. Never heard of that, man. Uh,
I think that was the one with no whammy, no whammy.
oh, dude. Oh, dude. Oh my God. You've never seen Blake Seven? Oh my God. Dude, if we can find a way to watch it together, dude, I'll be your new best friend, man. That show, I've only seen it once, and from the very first episode, you're just like hit right in the freaking. Oh my God! Did they just say what I think they said? Um, just have you ever seen it, Squirrel?
No, I've heard of it. I've heard the name, the title, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
If Blake Seven, man, one of if you like Doctor Who and if you like Thunderbirds and all the stuff that he did and cheesy but fantastic sci-fi. It's oh my god,
Yeah, the good cheese.
yeah, the good cheese, yeah, the stinky good, freaking expensive cheese, um, is so good. Yeah, 19 what was it 1978 or 79 through 80 81, 3 years and whatever you do not skip ahead. Do not watch any videos about it. Do not do anything because you will ruin what is the most freaking astonishing endings. For whoa! Please send me that link. I will order it by the end of the day, if not by noon, because that's if it's the whole collection, that's cheaper than I've seen on eBay. And every time I got to make sure it's not like Region Two or Region Three or some shit. Um, yeah, man, that's oh, it's only the first year.
Uh,
Fuck that. Fuck that. Excuse my French, but I could literally uh, like add 20 bucks maybe for the whole season. I've seen it like I think about 50 60 bucks for the whole series, and it's usually used, but back in 70 80s local TV station afternoon movies. They did Planet of the Apes week and Kung Fu week. Yeah.
Same here, same around here. That was
Hmm.
part of the Saturday morning routine when I was a kid. You get up, watch some of the cartoons, and then in the
Uh,
afternoon, if it was rainy or whatever, there was always Godzilla and some,
Man with
the
X-ray
Wushu
eyes and
Kung Fu, and
the giant Gila monster and oh yeah. And Sunday too, right after we had I think it was Tom Hatton and the Popeye show. I forget what it was called, where he'd play all the old Popeye cartoons, but he'd also play like Tom Slick, Super Chicken, George of the Jungle. Most people know George of the Jungle, but they don't remember the other cartoons made from that same company, Tom Slick and Super Chicken, and they were just off the wall oddball cartoons in the same vein, kind of like they almost had the look of like the fractured fairy tales, but a little bit better quality artwork, or
yeah,
uh, uh, Rocky and Bullwinkle, kind of but better, brighter, more vibrant colors. I want to say, not really better. Um, and right after Tom Hatton's Popeye thing on Sunday, because we didn't go to church, so we had the whole rest of the day, and there'd inevitably be on like Channel 5 or 9 or 13, which were back in those days like the crap channels. They weren't like Fox is now, which was funny watching Fox go from like the cheese channel to like one of the number one channels. But there'd always be some sort of monster movie. If not that, it would be Abbott and Costello, followed by the Bowery Boys. You ever watch that?
I've seen Abbott and Costello, Bowery Boys. There was always sprinkling of Three Stooges in there on the one channel I watched. The one,
Yeah.
yeah, the Superhost. Superhost was the guy's name. He was the host of the show, and he dressed up like a Superman, sort of. Had the cape and everything, but it had SH on his in that diamond or whatever on his chest, and but he had a clown nose. He wasn't like the exaggerated clown, but he was clownish, and he was just some local drunk that did a kids show out of
Okay,
Cleveland, and
nice.
he it was hilarious. Looking back on it as a kid, he was just being silly or whatever. But if you ever can find a clip of him, you can see he's just smashed all the time. In the middle of the afternoon, just smashed and just, hey kids, and
What was
hey
that?
folks.
And what was the other one? Like Captain, not Captain Kangaroo, but and not Bozo the Clown, but somewhere in between there, there was another guy, kind of like what Krusty the Clown was based on, and he'd bring, he had a kid audience, and he would do crazy shit and let the kids come up and win a prize. God, I can't remember what that was called. There were a bunch of those really weird shows, post Howdy Doody. Um, that were just like borderline. What the shit's going on here?
Yeah, whose
Somebody we
drunken
may
uncle
have.
is this that needs a
Yeah,
job so he
yeah.
doesn't
Do
get
we need to
kicked out
fire
of
up
the
the wood
family?
chipper or not? We got the wood chipper right here. We need to fire it up. Uh, that won't be a problem. Fewer things brought me more dread than the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie. I can top. Not only will I see your Little House on the Prairie and the Waltons, I will raise you an apple's way. Anybody remember that gem?
Yeah, yeah,
That was like, oh my god, this can't. And the worst part about it, it was like this really wholesome family TV show. I can't even remember what it was about. Right, all I know was the absolute mortification that I received and had to experience when my parents brought home an Apple's Way lunchbox, metal with thermos, and went, "Here's your new lunchbox because you lost your old one or whatever." And I had to go to school with not the cool Adam 12 lunchbox.
no.
Um, no, I had to go to school with the Apple's Way lunchbox. I'm like, are you trying to get me beat up? What's going on here? Bozo was from Chicago when I was a kid. Parents would buy tickets when they were pregnant so their kids could be on by the time they were 5 years old or so. Yeah, I had an ex girlfriend who was actually on the show, and I could see why she ended up the way she did. Um, but yeah, that's crazy, crazy old shit that I wonder if we'll ever see again. Like if we did a search, like if you went and searched up Bozo the Clown or the other guys or any of this shit, if anybody even remembers it, or if it just went to celluloid heaven and will never see the light of day except in the
Yeah,
Akashic
well,
records.
the majority of it's probably in a landfill somewhere.
I had to go to schools. Yeah, yeah. Any of you guys ever have to do summer school? I did 1 year between. I want to say it
Same
was
here.
between
I
first and
did
first,
too.
I think it was like first and second grade. I had to go to summer school. It wasn't awful. And I didn't realize, that it was, because I had done poorly or whatever. But it was also the only bad thing about it, which was actually a good thing because I'll explain. I had discovered Rocket Robin Hood at that age, and I really loved that cartoon. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna miss Rocket Robin Hood, right? And I did, and I never saw it again until recently when that memory percolated, and I went, I'm gonna go see if there's any Rocket Robin Hood uh, on the internet, on YouTube, and there is, and it's awful. It's one of the worst things I have ever been exposed to in my whole life. It was so bad. I
You
don't even know
loved
how.
it though.
As a kid, I freaking loved it, and my imagination over the years was far better than anything. But that
Yeah,
opening music, oh my god! Um, it's like Star Blazers theme song. Some of you might, you know, not remember it. Those of you who do, you either absolutely cringed every time you heard it, or you loved it. I was a 60-40 on that as well. Sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, oh god, that was so corny, just so corny. But at the same time, it was Star Blazers. The Star Blazers rocked. But Rocket Robin Hood turns that cringe factor up all the way uh, to 11, breaks off the knob, and shoves it down your throat. Uh, I remember when the real Bozo died and they tried to replace him and we all rejected him. Were you a bad shadow? No, I was just, uh, for whatever reason, I didn't get the grades, which is amazing because now it doesn't matter what your grades are. They're just pushing you along. You could literally not even be able to speak, and they're going to pass you these days.
Yeah.
The 60 minutes ticking clock was the death knell of the weekend before having to go back to school. Um, yeah, I did that a couple of times, but yeah, and then I got better or did better, didn't have to go to summer school and all that. But yeah, if you really need a dose of cringe, I highly recommend Rocket Robin Hood. Rocket Robin Hood. There's nothing that beats it in the cringiest of cringy cartoons of all time. It is the only thing that comes close. Do you remember? Do you remember the I think it was Marvel Comics where they cut out the lips and mouth of the characters, and someone's real face was behind that paper and would talk, so that they didn't have to animate the faces.
No,
Oh, it's the creepiest fucking thing ever. It's
I'm trying to imagine it, and I'm getting the chills. Yeah, that would be very, very creepy.
imagine like the Hulk, right? It's the Hulk's face, but then there's somebody's real mouth in place of the Hulk's mouth doing all the talking, but his face doesn't move, but just the mouth does. That was a real thing back in the early days of animation. Uh, oh god, it is so. Oh, it's so.
Oof.
Yeah, some folks in college can't read. They're called teachers. Um, Apparently, there's a new Blake Seven in production. God, I hope it's not for a modern. Of course, it will be if it comes out of the BBC. It will be unwatchable, and it will be a pox on that nation for trashing and defiling something so amazing. And mind you, it's amazing in some of its awfulness, in some of its cheese, and they had like this microscopic budget for everything. Uh, Clutch Cargo did the cutout lips. Okay, so you do remember that, and you are scarred for life. And I'm sorry I had to bring that memory back up for you. But if we're going to talk cringe, I mean that's as far back as you need go to really, just get your daily recommended dose of cringe. Blake Seven is funny because like the costumes were a cross between whatever was in the Shakespearean lot of the studio, and they would just mix and match and try to make it look sci-fi, or it was like super freaking new wave slash disco slash punk rock attire that I don't know where they came up with or found it. There were so many of those outfits that Paul Darrow wore that were just like, oh my god, that's fantastic. Oh my god, if I could buy that jacket, I would buy that jacket right now. Um, and then Servalan's costumes took up like the lion's share of the budget. She was the female bad girl, the
Okay.
queen of the empire, if you will, the president, I think she was called, or prime minister, or whatever. Just freaking, just a magnificent, super bad guy. Um, but I was watching some videos on the making of, and her wardrobe budget for then was like stunning to come up with these designer dresses and things like that. But yeah, definitely be careful, uh, and do not watch too much uh, Blake Seven before we watch it together, or whatever. Review it when you're done with Babylon 5, because you're gonna be done with Babylon 5 probably before the end of the year, right? Let's see. There's 22 or 25 episodes per year, and you're what year are you in? Oh, dang it. You say season 4, episode 5. Okay, so you got close to 50 episodes. So it won't even be until next year that you'll be looking at that. So that gives us some time. Yeah, 22 season 4. Yeah, um, which I remember when I was buying Babylon 5 originally. I was getting it from I want to say Sam's Club or was it Costco? One of the two. I even had to like to get one of the seasons. I walked into Sam's Club, Costco, whatever it was, without a membership, and I'm like, "Look!" I grabbed the box set. I went up to the customer service counter. I was like, "I got to buy this. I got to buy this now, but I don't have the money to become a member." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Oh, that's no problem. We have this like fee. You just pay this little fee and you can get it." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was going to pay you to use your card." Blah blah blah. He's like, "No, no, no, no. Don't sweat it." And I think it was season 4, as a matter of fact, uh, of Babylon 5, and I was buying them as I was watching them and finishing them. And I've even got a copy of the pilot, uh, autographed by J. Michael Straczynski. Big whoop, I know, but I do
Yeah,
have
it's
that.
still something neat.
I've got all the movies. I've got all 5 seasons. I've got the 3 like made for TV movies, River of Souls, etc. I need to watch those because I got that on eBay and I never watched it to make sure they worked. Which is too late now, but Snob got the Blu-ray version, but it doesn't have all the commentary tracks. Yeah, I don't own a single Blu-ray. Uh, Trying to avoid that. Walmart said has the pilot episode too. Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite episodes. Believe it or not, the beginning I think it's called, and it was a great show. Great freaking show. Season 5 though, I'm sure you've heard, not the best thing in the world. Not the worst, but you know, it could have just ended season 4 and that would have been okay. But I think I think that's well. You'll see. Uh, I'll watch your show tonight if I don't forget or don't get distracted by family stuff. Man, when it first aired, oh my god, did you watch it, Squirrel?
No,
Okay. Oh, The Gathering. Okay. In the
I've seen
beginning,
I've seen some of it, but I haven't watched what. You know what I mean? I've
uh,
seen.
it for the longest time it was the best sci-fi, in my opinion, that I'd ever seen. And then other stuff came out, and Firefly came out, and I'm like, I like this better.
Yeah,
But when Babylon 5 first came on the air, uh, everything shut down for me and my friends.
yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it, but like I said, I wasn't a fan. I didn't catch every episode, but
Oh man, we were glued to the freaking set, and during the commercials, did you see that? With friends on the phone, back when people used real phones that were plugged into the walls,
yes.
just losing our shit. Especially uh, Cam doesn't like Firefly. Oh my god. Oh man, that to me
Firefly
that
was a fun one.
to me that was all of my favorite things about sci-fi and westerns, mushed together in what supposedly was a great traveler campaign, but for me just would have you know easily been ripped from several of my Traveler campaigns. Just that whole everything about it. I don't know what's wrong with him either, man. That there was I can't think of like one moment of Firefly that I did not just absolutely fall in love with. Whereas like Babylon 5, the first season was just it was rough, man. It was rough getting through that. Speaking of which, did you remember or did you catch? I forget. I think it was maybe The Gathering. Uh, One of the very early episodes of B5, where the actor who played Mr. Morden is actually on the bridge as a bridge crew member. Did you catch that?
I didn't.
No, no, I meant Bad News Bards.
Yeah,
I
Bad
couldn't
News
do
Bards might
Stargate.
have.
I couldn't do Stargate if you paid me. Sorry. The movie, loved it. TV show um, was an abortion.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes here or there of that one too, and it was it was nothing special in
I,
my eyes.
yeah.
It's the way it's done. So I'm going to speak back to something I was thinking of, and we kept blabbing, and I got off track in my brain. Like half orcs and half elves.
Hmm.
I think you know this. I said this before. If I haven't, or if I did, I'll remind you. I don't. If I'm running a setting or a world, they're NPCs, and that's it. They're not player characters.
Hmm. Uh, I think you have mentioned that, but I am curious as to know why particularly. I kind of get half orcs because I wouldn't even allow them in my world because why? Um, unless you're running them like the Urukai are the half orcs, and there's something to be even more afraid of than you're running them as a player character because as player characters, half orcs to me were just like a kind of like a comic relief thing or just so that player just wants to freaking just kill and that's it. They're just an absolute war gamer optimizer. Just I want to fight, kill, and that's it. Don't talk to me about anything else. But why with you?
Well, the half orcs we both understand and kind of get saying, yeah, no, because how they are brought about. The whole situation of.
Right, right, right.
Well, think of half elves on the complete other end of the spectrum. Like how rare, and would you really want to go like live with the humans when you could live like you have your opinions on elves, a better kick-ass society? Why would you even? What's the point? Unless it's some kind of NPC story, NPC that's some kind of ranger or something that you meet along the way, or he needs help, or it comes to
Mm-hmm.
the humans for help per se,
Mm-hmm.
um, something like that. It never sat well with me. Either one. I don't know why. It's just something like there's enough. There's you got your humans, your elves, your gnomes, your dwarves, your halfling.
Mm-hmm. Um, with the half elves, I see it as like a kind of like a compromise between getting shafted for wanting to play an elf, because there's always some sort of prejudice or something or you've just been nerfed, as what should be like if you're playing an elf. I mean, it's like you're like damn near playing like a fallen angel as far as I'm concerned. Not necessarily a fallen angel, but like an angel that was created without wings, a race of these angelic beings that are just above and beyond humanity in ways we can't even imagine. So you're being penalized for wanting to play that, which I mean, like, who wouldn't want to if that was an option? Oh, but wait, we're going to nerf them down to the point where they're actually a joke. compared to
Well,
the
at what point, starting out, the point of development, I would think for someone so long lived, such as an elf, well, you're starting off in the early stages. So you ain't going to be as badass as great, great, great granddaddy elf. He'd been
sure,
around
sure,
for a couple thousand
absolutely,
years.
right.
So there's a little bit part of the nerfing right there. You're a pup, a teenager, even though you're 400 years old, you're still a teenager. So you haven't quite got there yet.
Hmm, hmm. Absolutely, but the potential is still there,
Oh yeah,
and
it's there.
even
It's
you
good luck
know
getting there.
like
Plus the fact
Legolas,
how rare elves are for being adventurers, in my opinion. All right, elves are immortal or nearly immortal. All right. As long as they don't take a sword to the side of the face or an arrow in the back or a knife to the kidneys,
right, right,
why would you risk unless something dire
right.
was on the line or you were an outcast? Why would you risk that? If I knew I could
You,
live 1,200 freaking years, as long
well,
as I didn't put myself knowingly in harm's way, why would you?
right, you're absolutely correct. They could literally
For the
just,
most part. For the
yeah,
most
you
part.
could literally hole up anywhere, away from whatever's going on, and in the blink of an eye, to you, all that shit would be over and resolved itself, and you'd still be
Exactly.
existing.
Exactly.
Now, I got to address this thing. Bad news says, come to the conclusion that it said is setting a policy: no furries, no flyers, no freaks. Okay, furries get it, no problem. Unless you're talking about like Wookiees or something like that, in which case, why not? The other kind, no, they need to be, excised. No flyers. I absolutely have absolutely no problem with flyers whatsoever. I kind of wonder why GMs have such a conniption fit over uh, even getting the fly spell. It's like, oh no, now I can't. Now you're invincible. Shut up, thunk, thunk. No fucking difference. You know, an arrow will hit you in the air just as easily as it will with your feet on the ground. As a matter of fact, the fact that you're flying might make yourself even more of a target, depending on the reaction roll. Let's say if suddenly, the wizard leaps up into the air and is flying, everybody goes, "Ha ha! This will be a fun challenge. See who can get the wizard."
Yeah.
Make sport out of it. So get the flying
Who
wizard.
yep, who
Uh, you
pegs
know,
the flyer first wins, wall bet 10 gold to the first guy
uh,
that pins
the
the flyer.
right? Dragon Magazine had this winged folk article where you could run like humans with wings, and it was interesting. They had their drawbacks, but they could be fun in an overland hex crawl game. Could be a lot. It could be one of the most valuable characters you could ever have. Other games have winged creatures. Arduin is famous for having one or more winged creatures. No big deal. It's literally now no freaks. I don't know what that means. Um, if you mean like mutants or psionics or things like that, same thing. There's literally nothing I can't handle. If you came to my table and said, I want to play Jesus Christ as a player character, I'd be like, okay. Yeah, I mean, you want to run Odin, you want to run Superman in my D&D game, I can handle it. You can't break my game. My game is unbreakable because there are no limits. It's imagination. It's like, when I give DMs a hard time for being penny pinchers, it's like the gold's not coming out of your pocket. If I give the player, if I say, okay, you can start your character out with 1,000,000 gold, what do you want to buy? It's not going to be a problem. I just, none of those things. See, I grew up playing more superhero games than fantasy role playing games for a huge part of my gaming history. So I learned to deal with like super powerful characters and still come up with challenges for them because you don't always have to come at them straight on. If you're trying to make a challenge, things that come at you from the side, from your private life or your personal life or things like that can come at you, just as easily as a red dragon, charging at you, or assassins coming up from behind you. There's all kinds of ways to make the game challenging, and it doesn't always have to be combat. Look at Superman. The Superman comic book has uh, has been going on for almost 100 years, and they still come up with stuff to write about for him to do and to experience, and people still buy it, um, because you just got to take a little time and think about it instead of just randomly rolling up crap. Because if you're just randomly rolling up crap, then yeah, you're gonna run out of challenges. They're just gonna walk through like most of your stuff. But if you go, okay, let's make up a challenge. One of the easiest things I say for DMs to do, get this high level party, and they're really badass, and they're just, well, you make up a rival party, make their mirror opposite. Okay, so for the thief or the assassin, it's a paladin. You know, a paladin wants their head. For some whatever reason, you can come up with that later, and then you build a party around them of NPCs that are, kind of like the same level, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower as them, with all kinds of cool crap just like them, because they've been out adventuring, and now they're rivals, and at some point they're gonna meet, or maybe they're gonna hunt the party down. Maybe they're all bad guys. You got an anti-paladin, you got an assassin, you got an evil monk, an evil wizard, an evil priest, and an evil barbarian that all want to tear down your adventuring party for whatever reasons, and they can come at them one at a time, you know sneaking up on them, or whatever, um, and throw them a big ass challenge that could last an entire year of that campaign, where these people are actively trying to with them, in their private life, instead of in the dungeon. George, why can't you handle 3 dimensions as a DM? It's all games are in 3D, but when they're flying or they're underground, it's just a, I don't know, maybe uh, have visual aids that help you. Like an overlay. You know where they are spatially. Have another sheet or something, of paper or board or what have you, or vice versa underground. I'm talking about starting off from level one. I'm not worried about a wizard. Uh, there's a there's a race in Arduin. I forget what it is. It's like a cross between a goblin and a hobbit and something with wings. There's a little short bugger about 3 feet tall that can fly. And they're fond of like poison darts or something. And we had one in one of our parties for the playtest. And start off first level flyer, not a big deal. But if the character can fly, then they can't spend months on walking the ring to Mordor. Right, but that's you're assuming you've got the entire party of flyers. If you've got one guy in the party who's happened to have wings, well, one, their wings get tired, and two, are they part of the party or not? If they are, then they got to land, and they got to hang out with the non flyers from time to time. And will you tell them at the beginning that I am going to target you? If you're a flyer, you are a nice shiny thing up in the air that's a challenge, and that's what's going to happen. Bringing up the giant flying eagles.
Well, I mean, if an opponent, whether it be player character or enemy, NPC, whatever, monster, it exhibits a more present threat, who are you going to take out first? I
Especially if they
mean,
have
that
a bow
comes
and
with the
arrow.
territory. That comes with the territory. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. If you can fly, and that's not that common, and I mean, having the height advantage, and you can stop that, get to that, you're going to go as an opponent. You're going to go for that first.
Or at least,
That's why. I mean, besides the hit point disparity in some games for spellcasters, wizards, whatever, They stand in the back. Besides that, as soon as they see that guy can sling a whatever and either charm you or put you to sleep or fireball you or whatever, we got to take that guy out because he can do that on 3 or 4 of us at once. This fighter can only hit one of us at a time. We got to take that guy out.
Um, Absolutely, and I like to go take that one step further. Um, if clerics and priests, if you will, are all healers, then they take even higher. They become even higher priority than the wizard because if they can't heal, as soon as they can't heal anymore, now you're on even fighting
Yeah.
ground.
And now that being said, you're up against opponents that are as intelligent or maybe even more intelligent than you. You know, animals are just unga bunga dumb creatures. They're gonna go follow the path of least resistance. The guy on the ground, let's get those guys. You know, one guy might try and worry about the guy in the air, but the rest are gonna. So it depends on the smarts of the opponent.
And as for the drow, if you have a race, and I do have dark elves, but they're different. Uh, they're my own version of dark elves, cross between uh, Warhammer 40K fantasy battles, dark elves, and something a little more Tolkien esque, where they're not the Afro dark skin. They're more like pale. But either way, they live under the ground. But if you have a race that you're going to allow players to be that is so reviled, like half orcs or drow, and you explain to the player, excuse me, that hey, um, everybody is going to that realizes what you are, they're going to have a problem and they may just flat out not even ask questions, just purge you from the land. Are you sure you want to take that chance? Because I'm going to tell you right now, as a DM, you might not even make it through the first game. Just saying. Hell, the player characters in your supposed group or at the table may want to kill you just for saying, just for being that. You know,
Yeah, that,
unless
I never really allowed drow in any of my campaigns either, just for that fact. Like, dude, some things. Yeah, I know we read the was it Salvatore books. I know the Drizzt. They were fun books. He was an NPC.
Mhm,
That's if you have too many exceptions to the rules at the table, where's the rules? Where's the norm?
mhm. Yeah, they're just gonna freaking, you know, they're just gonna kill you. The whole town. Hell, the town might make a sport of it, or catch you, and then your tomorrow night's entertainment. They're gonna string you up and burn you at the stake, or lynch you, or whatever, and then hang you from the front gates so that everybody knows, hey, we caught ourselves a drow.
I mean, if they
Um,
have any brains between their ears, they're going to grab them if they can, capture them, torture them, figure out what hole, what cave, where did you come from, and then hire adventurers and go, look, we need this sealed.
mhm.
This
Which
has
might
got
be
to
a great
stop.
way to start an adventure. Killing off a PC and then hunting down. But Chris, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I started playing V&V, and that would be like telling a V&V character, "Well, you can be a superhero character, but you can't fly." You know? What? What do you mean I can't fly? I'm not letting people fly. Oh, but I
I
can run
don't.
real fast. I can teleport, but not flying. Huh?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't really do an anything goes kind of game just because that's me.
mhm,
But some of the limitations, there's not many. You know,
mhm.
if for some reason there was a character race that had wings and could fly it right out the gate, so be it. I usually don't play or run those types of games, so they're not even
Sure.
available. But there have been a few times that I had, well, a good handful of times that I have, and they were, and a player character, a player chose one of those races. Okay, whatever. But again, they didn't gripe because I explained it to them. Look, when you
Right.
take flight, if you're up against some bandits or humans or something that's got as much smarts or maybe even a little bit more than you guys, you're probably going to be target A.
and if
Just
not,
just
definitely
just
target
saying.
me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
just saying. You might want to hold. You might want to keep those wings kind of tucked in if you can, until like there's two or three of them left, and then take to flight and
Because to
pick
be,
off the last two.
think about it from the player character perspective, right? You tell the party, you tell your friends, hey, I'm going to run a hex crawl. So rangers and druids going to be great. And someone says, hey, could I run one of those winged folk out of the Dragon magazine? I know I'm going to be scared to go into dungeons and in caves and stuff. Being afraid, claustrophobic, etc. But I still think I could be of value to the party as a scout, etc. Which, think about it, you got a character with wings that can go up in the air and fly around, maybe even to heights where arrows aren't going to get them. They would make a fantastic ranger or scout, or oh my god, a druid. A winged folk druid. Up there in the sky, freaking calling down thunder and lightning, out of range of everything, but going boom, take that, you freaking tribe of orcs. Here, have another, 8d8 lightning bolt. Here, have another one. Have another one. I mean, who wouldn't want to play that, right?
Yeah,
That sounds like a
yeah.
lot of fun, and being able to admit that, then you're like, well, okay, I can see why someone would do that. How can I make that to where they don't just rule the whole game, but at the same time are of value to the party, and they're not going to steal the show. They'll get their moment in the sun, just like anybody else. And if shit happens, they're also susceptible to crossbow bolts, or who knows, harpies, or the odd dragon might see, hey, what the heck is that flying
Another
over?
another another wizard cast lightning bolt up into the air at the flyer. I mean,
Or any of the other massive, large amount of flying creatures in the game. Because that flyer is going to be up in the air solo, right? So it's like, okay, you're up in the air and you see come screaming at you three harpies, no matter who you are, what level you are. Three harpies coming at an average kind of level character. That's like, I better freaking land, dive bomb down back to the party. Sorry, guys, there's three harpies on my tail. Get ready to make some saving throws. Uh,
yeah,
you know,
there's
but
all kinds of ways you can do it.
right. So we can understand that there's plenty of ways to deal with it and make them regret their choice or not want to do it every time they play.
Yeah,
But at
not
the same
necessarily
time,
regret the choice, but just make sure that choice was
well founded.
yeah, meaningful, I guess, or at least well informed.
And understand that as a player, especially a player like who's played a lot of other things, if you can literally say, I've played every race in the player's handbook, I want something new. Or maybe I've played every race multiple times. Is there something new you got? Because okay, I've run. I literally took count a while ago. It was like over 100 different fighters. Okay, and I'm running another one in another game because when you roll shit on your stats, that's what's open to you as a fighter. And then you get killed, and you roll up a new character, hoping the dice gods will finally shine on you, giving you the chance to run something else. But as a player, uh, wanting to play something new and unique and interesting is just going to be the case. The more you play, the more you're going to bump into people who want to play something, really off the freaking wall. And um, as opposed to saying, no, or I really just use it as a learning experience, because now they're going to push you and your skill as a GM to that next level. I mean, when you can get to the point where it's like, yeah, go ahead, run a flyer, I don't care. You've
We
gone up a level. You've literally
speak,
gotten to the point where it's like, oh yeah, I can handle that. Look
yeah,
at it as
speaking.
the next milestone as a DM. Go, okay, who wants to run a lizard man? Anybody want to run a lizard man?
See, that was neat. Speaking of that, touching upon that, there was we did a few adventures. It was going to be hopefully a campaign, but for some reason it fizzled out, or I can't remember what. This was years back. We had a good run when we were doing D&D 3.5 rules,
Mm-hmm.
and a buddy of mine, we got. I used to have almost. I probably would say 90. 97 to 99% of the 3.5 books at the time. Um, we had a lot of fun with that. But there was a book that contained rules for creating player characters that were monsters. You could create a like do like a flesh golem or do a Trent or do like all kinds of different things.
Hmm.
And so the buddy of mine at the time, he ran a good probably 20, 30 adventures using those rules and our player characters. My first player character, he was a flesh golem. And the story I had behind him, because his intelligence was so low at the start, because as you level up, you can put some points in. You know, you can get a little smarter, a little better for your attributes. Not much,
Hmm.
from what I remember. Uh, I said, you know what? That his head or his brain, uh, it was a cobbler. Came from a cobbler. And I says, and I'm going to tell you what. The whole time I play this character,
Peach or cherry?
it, and and this was before, well before the Guardians of the Galaxy's movies and Groot. You know, I am
Mhm.
Groot. Groot. All that guy would say, all my character would say was shoo, shoo, shoo. You know, I would just, give different
What's the food? Mr.
afflections
Brothers?
to the word shoe. We had a good time, and then he died. I think he drowned or something. And then the next character I made up, it was a Trent, I think Druid, and his familiar was a hawk or an eagle or something. And that was really fun for a little while. And then for some reason, I don't know what happened. A couple people moved away, I think, and it kind of fell to the wayside.
That sounds like a freaking fun game. In Chill, one of the supplements I think called Creature Feature or something, you could play a ghost, a werewolf, a vampire, or a mummy. Okay, which I am 100% certain was the inspiration for the TV show Being Human, because they had a werewolf, a vampire, and a ghost as the characters in that TV show, both the British and the American. Which I watched both, and they were both really good and fun and interesting, and proof that playing non-standard role-playing characters is if you just think about it, okay, from the get-go, like playing one of your friends wants to be a ghost, a werewolf, and a vampire, um, in modern day, okay, you can instantly start thinking of stuff that's like a challenge for them, and they're not out of control. But then you take those same characters and throw them in a D&D world, and why all of a sudden is there a problem? You know, okay, so you're a freaking vampire. Well, you're not going to get much adventuring and stuff done during the day, and you're going to have other people do your shopping for you. As a ghost, you're kind of screwed because you're stuck in this location. You can't go beyond a certain point. So enjoy that. And the other character, you're a werewolf. Well, don't get attached to anybody because you never know when you might accidentally kill them when a full moon hits you and I take over your character.
Yeah,
You know,
you have that bestial rage.
and you might end up killing your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your family, the whole bit, and you're gonna wake up next day and it's like, oh shit. Um, and they both both of them, at least Gygax mentioned, playing non-standard characters, or monsters. If you're ready for it, you're ready for it. If you're not, you're not. But to say never is just making sure that as a GM, you only go to a certain point. You never get to the next level where you can say, "I can freaking handle anything." You want to run a first level Balrog? Let's do it. Okay, not a problem. The other players may have a problem with it, or maybe you'll all just run demons and I'll send angels after you all the time. That could be fun for me. Maybe not for you, right? Um, Arduin. Here's a miniature of an insect guy. It's called a Frank. They're famous for leaping over their opponents, throwing javelins straight down at their opponents, landing behind them with their two-handed sword, and just laying waste. The only problem with these guys, they're bugs. They're like kind of like an aphid, mantis, warrior kind of thing. The only problem is they're absolutely 100% logical, like Vulcan like logical, and very very tied to their hive, or where they come from, and they're usually like on a mission to serve the queen, or the hive has decided that they were going to eat you, because they were running out of food, and the logical thing would be to eat you. And you said, well, the logical thing for me is to get the hell out of the hive and go adventure and leave you guys behind because I don't want to get eaten. And so you run an adventure freight who meets up with some humans, dwarves, elves, etc., and says, "Hey, let's go adventure. Let's go find a job together. Let's not die because they want to eat me." Um,
Or
and,
you could be
and
on somewhat of a secret recon to find a new hive because your hive is running out of room.
that's actually a very astute conclusion, because that is also a common sort of thing that in fact you are sent on a mission to go find a good location for a new hive. And hey, this dungeon over here, that might not be a bad place. It's already hollowed out, and we can
Yeah,
start laying eggs and stuff.
90,
Let's go.
97% pre built, pre installed. I'll go with these guys. I'll help them clear it out, and as soon as they're done, we go back to the town. I say, hey, I gotta. You just disappear, and the next thing you know, you got everyone running into this dungeon, and be like, "Thanks, guys," and slam the door shut. And then the players are like, "Oh shit," because this is close to this, these three small farming villages. Oh crap!
And they like their honey. And the same game allows you to play like a form of lizardmen, urukai, uh, just all kinds of crazy shit. There's like 30 different races, and only a few of them are the standards, because sometimes you want something new, something different, and you know everybody plays long enough will get to that point where, like, that's why we're always talking about new games. Whether it's new genres or new takes on the rules. That's a certain, for me, that's like a certain level of gamer, whether it be player or DM, where you're looking for better and better mechanics to make the things work. And then another level is different genres, being able to play them, incorporate them, run them, and master them. And then you get to a point where you can do all that. You can take like four different genres and squish them up together and make some weird Frankenstein world or dimension or galaxy that you run. There's really no, and should be no, limit to your imagination. It's just like anything else. It takes time and practice, and a willing group of test
Guinea
subjects,
pigs.
player characters. Okay, because uh, I mean, running a treant. I never actually thought of that. That's like, that sounds kind of awesome. You know,
Yeah, it
uh,
was a really neat one. I forget the name of the book. Like I said, it was for the D&D 3.5 rule set, and he really wanted to, run some adventures using that book and those rules. And the way it was kind of our the party was kind of like. Have you ever heard or seen read Doom Patrol?
yeah.
Okay, we were kind of like that. So whichever one of the player characters was more approachable to the humans,
Uh-huh.
that person was that character was kind of our liaison or emissary, while the
Okay.
rest were like off, kind of like chilling. Because what village or Thorpe is going to allow a flesh golem to walk through town going shoo, burn them, get them, pitchforks,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
torches? But now, a kind, this didn't happen at the same time. But think about a kindly Trent. Oh, hey, what's up? It was really,
Who can cast plant growth on our crops every once in a while?
it was neat. It was neat. I mean, starting off at first level, you had a few spells, a few druid spells, and Trent abilities, but
Sure.
it was like a dual class kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Where as you leveled up, it took longer in druid because you were also simultaneously leveling in Trent in your
Yeah,
race.
that sounds like a lot of fun. What Chris was talking about here with playing a revenant, I kind of have a similar experience, uh, and that's freaking awesome. Especially like a player willing to go into a game knowing that if they accomplish the thing, they're gonna die. They've done the thing, they've gotten their revenge, and the players are all gonna go, dude, what the shit? Oh my god. And they're like, yeah, well, now I got to roll up a new character. Not a problem. And the Three Creen is a Frank looking fella. The Three Creen was based on the Frank. Franks were uh, first around in 70, 74, 5, 6, or 7, and then D&D copied them and made the Three Creen, and they're both really fun, and they're actually different enough to where I would allow either or in a game. But the Franks are just, a little cooler because they're the originals. What's up, Mobius? It is an absolute great day. Um, and I hope all of you guys get to, play in some weirder and weirder games. Because, like I was talking about last week with my son's group, the game they play would make so many people we know just lose their shit about how freaking un how abnormal it is to their experience. But yet they were role playing, they were rolling dice, using minis, playing in character, having a blast, and it is nothing like what we're used to. Even me, I was like, "What the shit? What? Not getting in the way. You need any help? You need any advice? I'm there, but I'm not going to criticize it whatsoever because I would rather the hobby go forward in their hands with all the positivity they can muster, as opposed to our hobby dying because of restrictions and limitations and bans and requirements, and you got to play this way or no way. The hobby
Yep.
has evolved drastically since day one, is going to continue doing so for the foreseeable future. And if it exists 100 years from now, it will be almost unrecognizable to us, but it would still be fun as hell if we were that generation playing. It would be our thing. It would be our special thing that brings us together and lets us have memories that nobody else could possibly compare with and share unless they're obviously invited in. And then every one of those kids are going to go off you know uh, into their own lives and always have those memories, barring unforeseen circumstances, of the good times they had together, uh, playing, make believe with elves and sticks and flying jellyfish characters and a werewolf character and a robot druid character and just a bunch of other weird characters that are in the party that are uh, that just completely wacko to what we're used to, but they wouldn't have it any other way, and I'm happy for them. And with that, they're going to
Uh-oh.
have they're going to have the time of their lives. I hope you guys do too. I'm going to say adios for the day. I've got to take care of some things off camera, and you really don't want to be involved in that. Trust me. Uh, Squirrel, always a pleasure. Make sure you say hi to the wife for me. Give her a big
I
hug,
will.
and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody else out there, thanks for sticking around, playing along, enjoying the morning with me, and talking the hobby and TV shows and all kinds of weird shit. This was a very fun morning for me. I really
Good.
appreciate it. I love you guys.
All right.
Happy
Love you,
trails.
brother. Love you guys.
Right back at you, man.